So when we talk about getting your health back, it's a perfect transition. I was just in Fort Lauderdale training some jujitsu at Henzo Fort Lauderdale with my buddy JP Smith, and I was like, dude, Boss Rutten's coming on my podcast this week, and he was like, man, I got his O2 trainer, game changer. He goes, I have never gotten tired wrestling or rolling since then. I literally have one sitting at my front door right now. I can't wait to use it. But I was doing a lot of research for this, and I was blown away at the some of the names you dropped of people that have done this that have come back as testimonials. So I would change them. So talk about the O2 trainer, man. People with asthma, people with lung stuff. Like, there's a way you can literally start to get your health back today by using this.
It's and the bad thing is the best thing is under 5 minutes a day. It's not like you have to do a whole freaking workout. So this started all the way back. So I was very sick as a kid. We established this now with a week in bed every time I'm in an asthma attack. But after I would resume my track and field, which I was high level already at a young age, with track and field, needless to say, 800 meters and 1500 meters and 400 were very bad for me. I wanted to be the next Bruce Jenner, the Dutch Bruce Jenner, the decathlon gold medalist in 1976. He was my freaking hero. This guy's unbelievable what he could do at the time. Now, of course, he changed, but he still did all these remarkable things. He was a freaking animal, man. It was unbelievable. So what I realized is after an asthma attack, I would break my running times if I would do competition. And I go, why is this? And it drove me insane. I thought maybe it's the medication I'm taking. Maybe I can do that, take that medication before I have to run, but it wasn't. And I went to the doctor. I spent a lot of time at the doctors, of course. And then suddenly one day I realized, and it was been there for a long time, a drawing of a pair of lungs on the wall in a frame. And I was looking at it, and it showed an infected airway, a bronchial tube, and it showed a healthy one next to it. And I go, oh my God, I've been working out my lungs with resistance for 24/7 for 7 days straight. So now with the infection gone, my lungs are much stronger. It's easier for them to pull air in. Whoa, why don't I come up with something that controls the air intake? So I got a washer. I don't have one here. Maybe I have one in here. No. Washers and bolts,
Yeah,
So
yeah.
a little washer with a little tiny hole. I put it in front of my tooth and I would start breathing through that. Of course, do not do that. It's very dangerous. You open your mouth, shoots in your lung. If it goes to the trachea, it bypasses a bronchial tube. That's it. You can't Heimlich it out. You're dead. I just did a video about that with gum. Once it passes, and people have died, don't chew gum, especially when you get hit. You do this and shoots in there. You're dead. You can't Heimlich it out. So then I realized, okay, I started training with that, but it was, of course, very dangerous. Then many years later, I was always talking about the Ruttenizer. That was the original name for it. At parties, people talk about inventions, and then suddenly, and I would say my invention was control the air intake. And everybody always said, man, you got to make that thing. That could be really good. And then in 2011, I started making it. Now, I carried an inhaler with me everywhere I went. Had to. If I sneeze violently 2 or 3 times, I have to spray open my lungs. That's how it works. Lots of people out there have exactly the same thing that I have. If I work out for 30 seconds, 1 minute, I need to open my lungs, and then I can go the whole workout. Every workout, every fight, always use an inhaler. 3.5 weeks with the prototype, my inhaler is gone. I go, whoa, this is big, right? So I sent it to a friend of mine in Holland who has asthma, and I told him, just start using this thing. Didn't say anything for the rest. He started using it. Calls me back 8 days later. I want to sell them in Europe. He's selling them in Europe right now. It's just my asthma is gone. I go, dude, we're up to something. Now, what I didn't know is this is inspiratory muscle training. It's been around for freaking decades. But the fact that I made such a simplistic thing when I was a kid made me bypass all the patents that are out there because nobody had it like I had it. So then you try to sell it, and nothing really worked until I met Dr. Belisa Vranic. She's a world-renowned breathing expert. And I went to her office on Fifth Avenue. Actually, Joey Diaz, you were talking about,
Oh,
he
yeah,
set
yeah.
me up with her. And the first thing she did was measuring my chest expansion. And I'll tell you a little bit why that is. So I'm exhaling, inhaling, and she started laughing. She goes, yeah, that's not possible. Do it again. So I do it again, and then she goes, wait, and she runs out. And I go, okay, this is weird. Comes back with another doctor. Okay, well, it's either really good or really bad, right? And she goes, if I don't bring him, he's not going to believe it. I go, what's going on? She says, well, normally they break the record with chest expansion by 1/4 of an inch or an eighth. You almost went 2 inches further than everybody else. How is that possible? I go, well, I'm using this thing. So I gave it to her. She started using it, felt the power, start putting it in her books. And now people start getting traction. Then I found out there's over 2,000 published medical journals about this. So this is not clinically tested, it's clinically proven. And you can read over 2,000 published medical journals. So What it is very simple. Now, first of all, you have to understand that your lungs, they're two bags. There's just no muscle in the lung, right? So by themselves, they can't do anything. The way for you to open them up is by chest expansion. If your chest expands, that creates a vacuum between your body and the lungs, and that vacuum, that opens up your lungs. So zero muscle in the lung. If you can't expand your chest, you die. Well, the chest expansion is done by a diaphragm, which is attached. It's a thin dome-shaped muscle tendon, looks like this a little bit. And what it does, it drops down in the body. And from that angle, you don't see a lot, but this is what happens inside the body. It expands because it drops down. Now, this outside here is connected to the bottom part of your ribs, all the way 360 degrees circumferential around your body. So you have back breathing muscles, side breathing muscles, and front breathing muscles. It's not only the diaphragm, it's also your intercostals, your external intercostals, which are the muscles in between your ribs. So if your diaphragm breaks and it doesn't function anymore, you can still breathe by your chest expansion, use your intercostals. You have 11 pounds. An average human being has 11 pounds of breathing muscles. Don't you think it would be great to work them out? So let's see what it does. So what happens when metaboroflex, when you're gassing? That's a nice word for saying you're gassing. I use the same example. If you heard this before, I'm using it because it's the easiest to get inside your head. Imagine you're running a hill, a steep freaking hill. And suddenly your legs start shaking. Boom, it's like you've been hit in the face. You start gassing. What happens when you're gassing? Okay, when you're gassing, your body starts redirecting your oxygenated blood. It will take it away from your legs that you're using right now because it's going to send it to the number one priority in your body, which are your breathing muscles. 3 minutes without it, you're dead. That's why it starts blood stealing. That's the medical term for it. You can look it up. Blood stealing. Okay, so how does endurance work? Endurance, well, you train hard and then you get better endurance. Yeah, but what goes on in the body? There's got to be a reason for it, right? Okay, well, I found that reason. If you work out a muscle over and over again, it becomes more efficient at its job. And the word efficient already says it. It uses less oxygen. Because the more efficient it gets, the more your stamina starts increasing. Whoa, wait a minute. You just said that with that blood stealing, what if you train your 11 pounds of breathing muscles with resistance, give them endurance so they don't have to steal the blood anymore from your limbs that you're using at that moment? Boom. And that's what the O2 trainer does. And not only that, it forces you to breathe the correct way. I can tell you, take a deep breath. Take a deep breath right now. But you're lifting your shoulders. That's a completely wrong breath. 4 to 6 of these breaths is the same as one diaphragmatic breath. You pull in the same amount of air. So you can take the number 4. 4 times this, that's the lowest number because it's probably more. And you can do the same air by doing it correctly. Well, this forces you to use these muscles, your core, your diaphragm, because if you don't use them, you do not have enough power to pull that air through that little tiny hole. You're going to be forced to start breathing through your belly. So that's why at the beginning I tell people, sit down, grab the bottom of your chair and start breathing. Only use your stomach. There should be zero movement. Your chest should go forward a little bit. That's good, of course, because that's chest expansion, but it should never raise. And once you change that, and 95% of the people are breathing incorrect. Google it. Don't believe me. Google it, find out. And the 5% who did that get breathing classes, they probably had breathing classes. That's what I'm trying to say. Now, we do breathe perfectly when we come out of the womb. Because if you look at a baby, you see the belly move. Perfect. That's what every mammal in the world, they breathe like that. We're the only ones who don't breathe like that. And this is the reason. It's a stupid reason. You're going to go, yeah, is that right? Again, look it up. It's not me. Doctors are saying this. So once you go to school, it all stops when you're 5.5 years of age, because now you go to school, now you sit down, now you start wearing belts, now you go to the doctor, they say, hey, let me listen to your lungs. They put the stethoscope here. And you're thinking, hey, this is where my lungs are. No, your lungs are not here. They're here. Also another one, and this is a big one, you start getting interested in the opposite sex, or maybe even the same sex. Doesn't really matter what it is, but you start thinking, wait a minute, if I keep breathing through my belly, they might think I'm fat. And those all together, those little tiny reasons, are literally the reason that we start breathing incorrectly. And once you do that, again, I was fighting world titles. You'll see me breathing like this. I literally have a video out there. If I go now on the back, it's bizarre. I go full on the back and I come out, it's like this. It's no more. That's completely gone, completely under control. And once you give your body, your machine, more oxygen, I mean, look at what it does to cars. Look at it does to everything. The more oxygen, the better you perform, of course. So that's in a nutshell what the O2 trainer is. It's weight training for your breathing muscles. Now, don't expect, if you want to transform your body, you go to a gym, don't think that next week you have reached your goal. It's going to take at least 6 weeks till you see notable differences, right? Well, to train your 11 pounds of breathing muscles and to untrain you the bad breathing and using your diaphragm, horizontal breathing, they call it as well, that's going to take about 6 weeks. 6 weeks, dude, it's 5 minutes a day. I do 5 minutes. It's not even between 3 and 4.5 minutes. So if you work out, go to your workout 5 minutes before. Do it before your workout and then do your workout. Now, the only thing I'm going to say about this, if you have a stamina workout and you just started the O2 trainer, don't do it. Because it's like doing 20, 30 squats with a very heavy weight, and now you got to run stairs. It's not very counterproductive. But because now you make your breathing muscles tired. So you will get more tired once you start using endurance. But after 6 weeks, this is exactly the opposite. I have a body action system, that punching device in my garage right here. I do this before I go hit it, and I don't have a second wind. Don't have a second wind? No, because they found out now, and these are preliminary studies, that say that your second wind is actually your diaphragm being warmed up. And once your diaphragm is warmed up, then you can really go. Well, I'm warming it up before I start working out. So it's already warmed up. I don't have a dip. I just go right away. It makes a gigantic difference in health, in everything, in sleeping. If you go to my website, o2trainer.com, there's a little tab Science. Click on that. And there's a drop-down menu with all published medical journals, meaning 100% proven what it does, not tested. This is these people, right? It's clinically tested. Don't buy that product. Because if it was clinically proven, they would have said clinically proven. What does it mean, clinically tested? What was the result of the test? That's what you should ask. But they will put the word clinically in there, that people go, oh, it's clinically tested. Yeah, but what was the result? You know, don't buy it. It's stupid. If it was proven, it would have said clinically proven. This is clinically proven with all the things. And then you're going to go back problems, balance, cystic fibrosis, asthma, COPD. I mean, the things that it does is like, it's mind-blowing. I had no clue. I thought it was just taking care of my asthma, but then I realized it's doing so much more, because breathing is so important for your digesting. It massages the heart. All these things are very important to the body, and if you all take it away, then on top of that, everybody's breathing with their mouths open. Nobody's using their nose anymore. That's another thing, right? So start focusing on your core, that you breathe correctly, and then start stopping that mouth from opening up. Try to breathe as much as you can through your nose. Now, if you're working out hard, these people say, I always breathe through my nose. 1.5 minutes with me, I'll guarantee you open your mouth. Guarantee you. There's no way that you can do it. Maybe a few people in the world can do that, yeah. But otherwise, you're not going to do it. Yeah, but boss, I like to breathe through my mouth, through my nose, and this is through the mouth. Yeah, we breathe about 24,000 times a day. 500 till 1,000 breaths through your mouth is not going to make any difference. This is 30 breaths. That's it. And now, once you do this, you'll make your inspiratory muscle stronger. So now you'll be able to breathe into your nose even better, because you just made your whole system stronger. So that's pretty much the whole work of the O2 trainer in a nutshell.
That sounds awesome, man. I got one outside. I'm very excited to use it and to grow on it. And I was joking around, but I'm going to send one to my good buddy, Marab Dwalish-Willie, and we're going to watch what he does to all the other UFC bantamweights with the gas he already has, plus the O2 trainer. I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, but that's the coolest thing. If you look like Tony Ferguson and there's Michael Chandler, all these guys are known for their stamina, right? Look at them when they go to the corner. They breathe like this.
Yeah.
There's no movement whatsoever. They just breathe correctly. And now imagine you breathe correctly and you use the O2 trainer, so you make it stronger as well. Now, again, you don't have to steal the blood anymore. Now it just goes. That's why all these Olympian endurance athletes are doing it. Nobody, the guys who do, the biggest name in boxing, Alexander Usyk, he was in the movie too. So I talked to him. I said, what do you do for your breathing? I go, he used my competition. And I said, no, that's good. But he's the only guy that I talked to who's using inspiratory muscle training for his endurance. Every Olympian, they all do it. Because their coaches, they will tell you how important this freaking thing is.